that did not abandon the people of Afghanistan is Albania. Its Prime Minister Rama committed to taking in up to 4,000 refugees from Afghanistan, more than any other country in the world. Vital Voices and a coalition of women's groups supported the evacuation of about 1,000 high-risk women leaders, government ministers, doctors, civil society leaders, athletes, journalists, and more. The coalition, with Albanian partners, is providing housing, education, medical services, psychosocial and trauma support. It is a right and natural thing to do, Mr. Rama said in an interview with the New York Times. We don't put people in camps. They are dehumanizing.
All people around here, they're saying they're like our family, we have the same experience like you, our country was in war. I will never forget Albania.
I just want to go help, and as much as I can to at least make a small part, a small change, and make it a bit better for the future generation.
What an extraordinary and inspiring evening of solidarity. And I think back all those many years, Diane, to when we started Vital Voices with the hope that it could become the global network that it is today. And it is so incredibly gratifying to hear the stories of the people that are being honored tonight, Billy and Roberto and James and Dan. Thank each and every one of you for all that you're doing and the leadership that you're providing as we continue to make sure that every single voice of every woman and every girl counts. And in the last months, we've had the extraordinary experience of seeing the return to Afghanistan of a group of men who want to turn the clock back on women and women's rights and roles. I wish they were the only people in the world today who wanted to turn the clock back. Unfortunately, there are too many who are themselves obstacles to progress, but even more than that, instruments of trying to undo the progress that has been made. Which is why we need leaders and activists more than ever, and particularly, if I can, in keeping with the theme tonight, men. Good men, James. Good men who stand up, speak out, and support the rights and roles of women. So it's a particular honor and pleasure for me to introduce someone whom I admire, who I've had the privilege of knowing, whose career I have watched with great interest and admiration, whose leadership is emblematic of a shared mission to elevate women and girls. Now, some international leaders were not willing to do very much. Even when asked if they answered affirmatively at all, it was with very minor commitments. There were, however, a handful, and sadly it is that, a handful of leaders who stepped forward in a time of great need. And at the top of that list is Prime Minister Rama. Prime Minister Rama understood almost instinctually how important it was to reach out, to say yes. So along with Vital Voices and the Georgetown Institute for Women, Peace and Security and Women for Women and Mina's List and many others, Prime Minister Rama opened Albania's doors to people from Afghanistan, predominantly women in need, and because of his leadership and the efforts of the Albanian government, more than 1,000 Afghan evacuees are safe in Albania. When I called to thank the Prime Minister for that extraordinary commitment, he was very matter of fact. Like, well, what else should we be doing? I wish there were more leaders who had that kind of approach. But this is not the only reason that he is being recognized tonight. After his re-election in September, Prime Minister Rama broke with historical precedent by appointing the highest number of women in the Albanian government ever in Albania's history. Over 70% of his cabinet ministers are women. And some of them are here this evening, equal partners in helping to shape the nation that they serve. And he continues to put gender equality at the center of his government's agenda, and to speak out against gender-based violence and to strengthen Albanian women's economic participation. At a time when across our globe, women's rights and security are under siege, Prime Minister Rama's commitment to advancing prosperity, opportunity, and dignity in Albania and for Afghans and others should inspire all of us to action. So on behalf of Vital Voices, it is my great honor to present the 2021 Global Trailblazer Award to Prime Minister Rama.
So before I say what I have to say, I want to tell you that based on the vital voice in our family, my wife Linda, modesty is not my strength. So when you hear me say that I am not only humbled, but somehow embarrassed to get this incredible recognition, I really mean it, because it seems to me that this is a very alarming sign of a world we live in and this craving for common sense. Before Secretary Clinton arrived, her shadow, her beautiful shadow, by the way, Abedin, met me and said, "You are a hero." Okay, it's nice to hear such a word from such a wonderful woman, but I'm not a hero. It's not in any way heroic to not turn the back to people that are risking to die. And talking about heroes, I want to just make the frame of the discussion or of what I'm talking about by telling you that heroes were others. Heroes were the Albanians that had everything to lose during the Second World War, and they saved Jews, making Albania the only country in Europe that had more Jews after the Second World War than before, and putting Albania as the righteous among nations by practically saving 3,750 Jews, and by closing the chapter of the war with no one single Jew consigned to the Nazis. And among them there were many heroes, but one of them, his name was Mustafa Rezniku, who is also recognized by the State of Israel as righteous among nations. He saved 42 Jewish families. But his activity in hiding them in different villages around his house was somehow signaled. And when the Nazis went to him and they asked him to give up the Jews, he gave up his two sons, who ended in Mauthausen. And he didn't give up the Jews. So there are many stories like this, but all this comes from far before, when Albanians wrote their first constitution. And the first paragraph of our first constitution says, "The house of the Albanian belongs to God and the guest." But the meaning of the word guest in Albanian in that paragraph means not only the one you invite, but also the one that shows up and knocks at your door. And the knock at the door is an obligation of you towards God to open and to help. So when in June we were in a gathering among the NATO member countries, and the talking was about the withdrawal, I just mentioned the need to address also the issue of the traitors. The traitors, as our very bitter history of dictatorship told us, are them who, after the regime will install itself, will be seen like the collaborators of the enemy. And the traitors in this case were all the people of Afghanistan, women and men, that were there for us, that worked with us, that covered so many things in terms of services to the NATO countries. And also them who got the front line because they believed in what we were telling them, that we were there to make Afghanistan a different place. They believed it. And they came out and they stood for that. And after 20 years, we left. And of course, it was not up to me. And as I always say, being Prime Minister of Albania in the NATO is quite an easy job because you don't have to take the decisions. But still, it seemed to me very bizarre that nobody was thinking about these people. And then in August, just when things started to get rough, someone came to me in Albania and said, Secretary Clinton needs your help. I said, how comes? This is something I would never dream of. And then he said, no, I'm serious. And it was a he, by the way. And he told me about Vital Voice and all this thing. And I said, okay, let's do it. He said, how? I said, let's do it. Let's take this win. He said, but do you want Secretary Clinton to call you? I said, no, let's do it. And then if she will remember about it, let her call me. You know, because it's very American, by the way. To be great in seducing you, and then to say, who are you? But it was not the case, by the way, and she called me. When all the women were saved and settled in Albania, she called me, and of course it was a big honor, because you have to know that if you are named Clinton in Albania, or among Albanians, this is something very special, because it's related to the liberation of half of our nation, Kosovo. And by the way, it's the only place on earth where you have people today, boys, named Clinton. But the first name, not the second name. And there are even boys named Bill Clinton. First name, like Bill Clinton Rama. Yeah. And all these boys that today are grown up, they were newborns after, thanks to President Clinton, First Lady, and the United States government at that time. This population was liberated from a regime that tried to clean them completely ethnically. So, bottom line is, we did it, and I think that as a NATO member country, we had to do it also, because we are a small country. We can't change the destiny of any war, and we go in every war by default if the United States decides. But if we are not there when it's up to save people, by not doing any heroic act like our old men and women did in the Second World War, why we have to be NATO members and for what we are worth in this world. And on the other hand, we were the Afghans 30 years ago when we had to escape a very brutal regime. They were not Islamic fundamentalists, but they were atheist fundamentalists. Albania was the only country in the world to have in the constitution that it was an atheist republic. And like the Taliban, they blew up with dynamite, not the Buddha statues, but 2,453 churches and Roman chapels and mosques, and they burned in the streets 300,000 religious artworks and religious books. So it was North Korea of Europe. And we were the Afghans while leaving the country in the boats. And when I had to announce the decision to take the Afghans, I posted a picture. The Afghans in this plane, in this crazy plane that left Kabul, being packed with people, and Albanians in the boats 30 years ago. Same picture, same people, only different nationalities and different vessels. And I'm very proud to tell you that no Albanian political party said no to welcome these people, and the public opinion was very much for it. And I think we had to do it also because of what we owe to our children. They need to know that there is a time to get and there is a time to give in this life. And once we were them who got, now we are them who give. As for the women in government, and this is very simple, I don't want to be praised for that, because I did it somehow following the advice of the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher. She said, if you want something to be said, ask a man. If you want something to be done, ask a woman. Now, the matter of the fact is that she didn't pick any woman for her government because she was herself there for every other woman maybe, but I couldn't afford it. So I had to pick a lot of women to do the job, basically. Not because I'm, special in that, but I just knew by my experience that if you want something to be said, men are ready and they can say and say and say and never ending. But if you want something to be done, don't lose time with men. This is my humble advice.